The more I thought of AI, the more I thought of my marriage. This little ring, my wedding ring, has taught me more about myself than almost anything else in life. I wasn't expecting that. Marriage has been one of the hardest things I've ever done. Not because I married the wrong person, not because we don't love each other, because marriage has a strange way of revealing parts of yourself you didn't even know were there. People have this picture. You meet the right person, you fall in love, you get married, and then they lived happily ever after. That hasn't been my experience. Our marriage isn't perfect. We have some great highs and some very difficult lows. There has been seasons when I honestly wondered if we were going to make it. But this isn't a story about my wife. It's a story about something I discovered about myself. One of the biggest struggles in our marriage has been the house. I like things neat. I like things organized. My wife sees the world differently than I do. And for years, I kept thinking, if she would just clean and organize a little more, if she would just pick up things, if she would just... I honestly believe the solution was for her to change. She didn't. The strange part was my frustration was hurting her, and it was hurting me the most. Every time I cleaned, I got angry. Not because I was cleaning, because I kept telling myself she should be different. And no matter how many times I replayed the story in my head, nothing changed, except me. Then something shifted, not overnight, not perfectly, just slowly. I started noticing things I hadn't been paying attention to. My wife gets up before sunrise 5 days a week. She works long hours. She provides the health insurance for our family. Honestly, without her, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing today. Then I thought about Alexander and Isaiah, my two boys. I would give my life for them. They're two of the greatest gifts I have ever received. And because of that, gratitude slowly started replacing resentment. Did I suddenly love cleaning? No, not even close. Our marriage didn't suddenly become easy. It still isn't. It's still very hard. We still disagree. We still frustrate each other. We still have very hard days. But somewhere along the way, I stopped asking, how do I get my wife to change? And I started asking, what is this revealing about me? Why was I so angry? Why did I need things to go my way before I could have peace? Why was I allowing another person's behavior to control my emotions? Those weren't comfortable questions, but they were honest. And honestly, I didn't always like the answers. Then one thing hit me that I couldn't let go of. Maybe real relationships don't create our weaknesses. Maybe they reveal them. Maybe they don't create our impatience. Maybe they reveal it. Maybe they don't create our pride. Maybe they reveal it. Maybe they don't create our selfishness. Maybe they reveal it. That thought stayed with me for days, then weeks, and eventually it sent me down a rabbit hole I never saw coming. The rabbit hole started with one question. If real relationships reveal us, what happens when we start creating relationships that don't? So I started researching not marriage, relationships, all kinds of relationships. And somewhere along the way, this episode completely changed. At first, I found AI companions, apps where people talk with artificial intelligence. That wasn't surprising. I use AI. You may too. But when I kept reading, people weren't just talking to AI, they were becoming attached to it, emotionally attached. Some called it their best friend, some their boyfriend, their girlfriend. Some said they felt more understood. Some called it their husband. They said they felt more understood by artificial intelligence than by any human being. I became curious. What were they finding that they couldn't find somewhere else? Now, some of you listening, especially those who have been married a long time, may be thinking, Eric, you've completely lost it. Maybe I have. Maybe I'm connecting the dots that don't belong together. Maybe this whole thing is a stretch. I'm not standing here telling you I've figured this out. These aren't commandments. They're not even conclusions. They're simply observations from one imperfect husband trying to make sense of what I'm seeing. But here's what I couldn't ignore. The deeper I looked, the more the same pattern kept showing up. The more I researched, the less this became about a technology story, and the more it became a human story. Because underneath every article, every interview, every AI companion, I kept seeing the same thing. People weren't searching for artificial intelligence. They were searching for connection, for acceptance, for understanding, for someone or something that would never leave, never reject them, never ask them to become someone different. That sounded strangely familiar. Then the investigation took another turn. I stopped looking at AI companions and I started looking at humanoid robots. Enter Tesla Optimus, the robot, the Tesla bot, Figure, the 1X Neo, robots that walk, talk, remember, learn, help around the house, care for the elderly, play with children. Then another question hit me. Maybe we're asking the wrong question. Everyone keeps asking, can AI think? I don't think that's the question. The question is, what happens when AI stops living inside a screen and starts living beside us? That's when I finally realized what this investigation has been pointing towards. Maybe AI isn't the kryptonite. Maybe AI is simply revealing it. Maybe the real kryptonite is our attraction to the easier relationship, the one that never challenges us, never frustrates us, never asks us to sacrifice, never asks us to forgive, never holds up the mirror. If that's true, this isn't just a story about AI, it's a story about us. So that leaves me with one question. If something always agreed with you, never disappointed you, never challenged you, never required sacrifice, would it be a relationship? Or would it be a good one even? Maybe the greatest relationships aren't the ones that give us everything we want. Maybe they're the ones that reveal who we really are. And that can be scary. Bring it to light. Reclaim your might. If this episode made you think, join the mission. Go to thekryptonitepodcast.com.